Welcome to the Human Longevity Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Melissa Petersen. Together, we're about to explore the science and solutions that will help you live better, longer. Today, I want to invite you in to have an intimate conversation with me as we share our feelings, our emotions, and specifically the emotion of anger. I want you to consider for a moment if anger could be aging you. Now, listen, if you've ever been cut off in traffic, you've probably gotten angry. And I don't want you to freak out. Here's what we're going to talk about today. There are kind of two sides to anger. There's one side where anger can be incredibly motivational, incredibly empowering, and actually healthy and add years to your life. But there's another side to anger, more insidious side, the type of anger that's repressed, that's held onto and ruminated over, can actually, according to the research, take anywhere from 5 to 10 years off of our life. So today we're going to look at it. We're going to explore it. And I'm actually going to give you some free and immediate scientifically validated tools that will help you to release the pressure valve. So if you've ever been angry, it's okay. I'm going to teach you exactly what to do, how to use anger to your benefit. Listen, I'm an Italian. My husband calls me the feisty little Italian. So there is a time that it can fuel you in all the right ways to look and feel and live your best life. So keep listening as we explore the power of our emotions today. But before we get started, I want to thank our sponsor, Rejuvent. Now, Rejuvent is my one and only go-to longevity supplement. It's the small molecule that has been proven in human trials to actually aid you in reverse. What we know is that with as little as 8 months of consecutive use of this all-natural supplement, that you can age in reverse biologically, upwards of years. So what does this mean for you and me? It means I've got more energy and so will you. More energy, more stamina, we look better, we feel better. It's increasing collagen and elastin. It's bringing down inflammation. It's clearing out cellular waste. It's helping with intracellular communication. I love the benefits. I know you will too. That's why I've paired up with Rejuvent. And if you go over to rejuventlife.com and you use the code DRM, DRM, the link is in the show notes, you're going to be able to save 10% and you're going to be able to get 2 free DNA biological age test kits. That's right, 2 free kits with my code DRM. Now, go over, save 10%. You're going to use it. You're going to see for yourself how radical the results can be for you. I love it. I endorse it. And I want you to go try it. Tell me what you think about it. Now, let's get back to the show. All right. So I probably don't have to tell you that when you hold on to anger, right? Something's been done to you, something that you didn't consent, something that you're seeing in the world, an injustice, something that you know could be better, should be better, your own expectations that you hold yourself up to, the coulda, woulda, shouldas. I'm going to be angry. I'm going to be judgmental. I'm going to be resentful. I'm going to be frustrated. I'm going to be agitated. I'm going to show them. Okay. It feels really empowering for a reason. And if you actually acknowledge the anger, the emotion, the frustration, and then you do something about it, this is called righteous anger. You are entitled to feel your feelings. So if you acknowledge it, you feel it, and you express it, and then you move on about your day and your life, that is actually really healthy. It's a healthy form of emoting. And here's what happens. Anger is part of the fight or flight system because it's a heightened emotion that is eliciting an immediate and potent response, very timely response in the body. So, as I've shared in previous episodes, the number one job of your brain is to keep you alive, to keep your body functioning, okay? Keep you surviving, not necessarily thriving, but to keep you surviving. So, what does that mean? Your brain is always scanning, always reading the environment for a potential threat. So if in any moment there is a heightened state, something's coming at you, something's happening, something's being done to you, something big is going on around you, Your brain is going to communicate to your body and give you the exact chemistry that you need so that you can fight and flight. Okay. You can get in there or get out of there. And that's really good. It also immediately increases the amount of the neurotransmitter dopamine that's motivating you to take the action to do the thing. So, this is really good when we actually use it, when we do the thing, when we take the action. The problem is when we don't. When we see the injustice, we got cut off and we didn't just go, and then move through the green light and go on with our day. The problem becomes when we get cut off and we ruminate. And an hour later, we're talking about getting cut off. 5 hours later, we're talking, I couldn't believe that person cut me off. 2 days later, we're still talking about it. Every time that emotional intensity flares in the system, you're dumping more of those hormones of stress into the system, the cortisol, the adrenaline, okay, that get ready, go take action. When those chemicals are dumped, they immediately release glucose. At any one time, your liver is holding about the equivalent of a candy bar. So you might go, hey, I'm not eating. I'm barely eating. So why can't I lose this weight? Well, if you're angry, if you're repressing emotions, if you're overly stressed, physically, mentally, we're talking emotionally today, chemically or environmentally, and your liver's constantly dumping more glucose, more glucose, more glucose so you can handle the threats of your life, you're not going to lose weight. I don't care how much exercise you do, right? I don't care how many supplements you take. You have to overload, you have to override that. And so when we keep dumping this glucose, it's not good for the body. So the body's like, well, we're sitting and stewing, we're ruminating, we're not fighting and taking action. So it dumps insulin. The more insulin like growth factor, the more insulin like growth factor, and glucose we constantly have, the more an aging pathway is turned on in our body. It's a nutrient sensing pathway called mTOR. mTOR is all about growth. So, what we know from the research is that people that repress anger have an increased rate of all cause mortality of 34%, an increased risk of heart disease by way of 46%. But here's the big one. I just talked to you about this mTOR pathway of growth being on and active with all these chemicals, right? All the cortisol, all the glucose, all the insulin, all the IGF-1, that actually increases and it fuels growth in the body and the type of growth that none of us want, which is cancer. So we know that people that repress anger on average experience and have a risk of a 70% increased likelihood of having cancer. Now, I'm not putting any of this on any of you. I'm sharing with you the numbers historically. But what I know and I believe to be true is that, first of all, aging is optional. And what I mean is it begins in our mind. What we believe is what we perceive and how we respond. So at any moment, when you know better, you can do better if you choose. At any moment, just by realizing, like, wait, here I thought my anger, being angry at this person that wronged me, this was the way I thought I was punishing them. This was me thinking I was taking action. I was serving and doing justice by way of holding on to this. But what I want you to know is that it doesn't hurt them. It's not creating justice. It's not bringing about change. It's only bringing about challenge to you, to your overall health expression, to your overall well-being. And what we absolutely know is that just like this system can be turned on, we can also pump the brakes. We can start to soothe this system. We can slow down the rate and pace of aging because not only is it working with cortisol and insulin, it's literally when we are staying in this pro inflammatory state, it's impacting all of the hallmarks of aging at a cellular level, right down to our DNA. Our code, your very genetic code is able to be accessed or communicated. The more inflamed, the more angry, the more closed down, literally the more closed down your DNA is by a process called methylation. Yeah. So let's help you to open up. Let's help you to free some of this, right? Let's help you to have some tools in your toolbox that you can be at choice, that you can either utilize the form of anger called righteous anger, acknowledge it, express it so that you don't repress it. When you acknowledge and you express, and then you go on about your day, you're actually using the motivation, you're actually using the chemistry in your body to take action, to make new decisions, to have clarity, to bring about results in your life. But when you do not do that, then you repress it. Then you actually accelerate the rate and pace of aging. You increase your risk of shortening not only your lifespan, but more importantly, your health and your well span. So, as we go through the rest of this episode, we're going to just take a few more minutes together. That I want to invite you in that, first of all, beauty, being alive, is to emote, to feel, to express, to experience. So there is no shame in what you feel. Step one, step one is about acknowledging your emotions, whether it's anger or joy or boredom or anything in between. Step one is to acknowledge. Remember, your emotions are like your inner guidance system, your inner GPS. At any moment, your internal guidance system is saying, yeah, this feels really good. Let's do more of this. Let's move in this direction. This is aligned. This brings joy. This brings energy. This brings vitality. This brings excitement. This brings curiosity. This brings novelty, right? Or this doesn't feel good. The spidey senses are up. This feels bad. This doesn't, like, this feels like we shouldn't have to do this. We don't want to do this. Okay. So your emotions are always trying to direct you to say, do more of this and less of that. It's that simple. Step one today in your homework to say, how do we actually shift and slow down that rate and pace of aging? How do we get you onto the side of this where you're actually leveraging the hormones of healing, the chemistry of thriving, of rejuvenation, of repair? Okay, that's where you're going to first acknowledge. And if you have an emotion and you're ready to feel it, it's safe for you to express it. By all means, express it. That's the healthiest thing you can do. An emotion lasts in our brain, it's a little electrical signal. Lasts less than a minute. But it's when we continue to put gas on the fire that we make it get bigger and bigger and go longer and longer. So feel it and then let it go. And it will let go of you. But if you just can't, if you continue to ruminate, if you continue to repress, if you continue to hold, then I want to offer you a tool of forgiveness. Forgiveness is one of the most powerful processes you can give yourself. Forgiveness is not about condoning an act or bad behavior. Forgiveness is not about letting another person off the hook. Forgiveness is about giving yourself the greatest gift of ease, of love, kindness, of peace in your system. Forgiveness allows you to pump the brakes on fight or flight. Forgiveness allows cortisol to lower, insulin to lower. Forgiveness allows serotonin to rise, a neurotransmitter in your brain. Forgiveness allows oxytocin, a hormone of love and connection, to rise. It allows you to have greater calm, greater clarity. And so, how do you practice forgiveness if you've been resentful and repressing and coulda, woulda, shoulda all over yourself for so long? Again, step one is acknowledging the emotion. Just acknowledge it, give it a name. Step two is if you cannot like express it, but if you cannot express it, then step three is you're going to forgive yourself for just having the emotions, for being there, for being human. And I don't mean that that's a bad thing. I mean, forgive yourself for carrying the burden of what is no longer yours to carry. And you can do this with this simple mantra. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. Those 4 words are from the very well validated and ancient Hawaiian prayer called Ho'oponopono. Just by placing your hand to your heart, looking at yourself in the mirror can bring even more power to this. By deeply looking in your own eyes, and again, just repeating these 4 words. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. This forgiveness prayer can begin to set you free from the burden and the weight and the pain of carrying anger. It will also help you to pump the brakes. It'll help you to bring down that inflammation. It'll help you to start to look better, feel better, and actually live better every day. Now, I have a free gift for you today. I have a forgiveness prayer meditation using those 4 phrases of the Ho'oponopono. I use the frequencies helping your brain to come down out of this stress and fight or flight, helping to bring you down into alpha, down into theta, where healing can occur. And you can just go over to humanlongevityyinstitute.com/forgive to get that free meditation gift. You can download it, listen to it as often as you need to. It's a powerful tool. I've had thousands listen and engage with it and share their personal stories. I'd love to hear how it supports you. So whether you choose to go to humanlongevityyinstitute.com/forgive to get that free gift, or if you just want to start with the step 1, acknowledge, step 2, express, step 3, forgive process, it's all right here for you. And it begins today. Because you, my friend, you are meant to thrive by design. So may you get curious about your emotions and know that they are all welcome. They're part of what reminds you that you truly are alive. You're here, enjoying, experiencing, expressing your life. And at any moment, the more you acknowledge how you're feeling, that's your guidance system that you get to then say, yeah, I want more of this, or no, thanks, I want less of this, so that you can take the actions that most align with what you want, what you desire, the type of life that you want to design and you want to intentionally live for yourself. I call it the ACT method. It's the acknowledgement or the awareness, the choice, right? Yes or no, more of this, less of that. And the T, the taking of the actions that will produce the greatest expression, experience, and results that you want starting today. So thanks for tuning in. Now it's your time to go thrive forward and age backward by acknowledging your emotions, releasing that anger with the power of forgiveness. Go get that free guided meditation over at humanlongevityyinstitute.com/forgive. I'm Dr. Melissa Petersen. It's been my honor and pleasure sharing this time with you today. Go grab that meditation, get that free gift, and share as you're ready what you notice within yourself, because now it's your time to go thrive by design.